ready to embark on a journey towards becoming the next generation of millionaires, the faithful way.
Welcome to another beautiful edition of the next generation of millionaires right here on Radio Christian Voice. My name is Kunda, and for a number of weeks now, I've been coming on radio, on social media as well, sharing different insights on building wealth. And in the studio with me, I have Dr. Kennedy Musonda. How are you?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
I'm good, and welcome.
Thank you. How's been your week?
No, it's been good. How's been your week?
It's just been good too, thanks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to today's program.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Because, when you are sharing these things, they also remind yourself, I'm reminded. We as human beings have a tendency to drift. So at least as you are sharing, you also remind, So it's good also for me to remind myself of these important principles.
Very true.
Yeah.
And this is what I always say. Even when it comes to the Word of God, I'm always saying we need that reminder. And when we are in church, we're being reminded of how we need to live, what we need to do, and how we could make sure that, our relationship with God is still intact.
Very, very important. I remember that Peter, even Paul, they talk about, I'm saying this again, for me to repeat it is not a problem. It's because they know that we forget. We may end up having different emphases, and therefore it's important for us to be reminded.
That's very true. And so last week, we're talking of the challenges of having a job. And so in creating wealth, rather. Let me finish that.
I was wondering, I said, really? Because somebody will say, I need a job, and that's what you can say. And you can say that because you have won.
So today, we're going to look at the advantages of a job for building wealth.
Yeah.
And this is very interesting because we might have a number of people, young people that are listening, and they have a job.
Yeah.
Or they're in form of employment and they have some income.
It may be formal or informal.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's still a job.
It's still a job.
Yeah.
At least you have some income somewhere.
Yes.
So and so we're going to be looking at this today. And so as we just get to start to look at some of these advantages, we could talk about, the key advantage of having a job, and which is like predictable income. How does having a stable job, how can it be an advantage to building wealth?
Yeah, very, very important. If you have a job, at least you have some source of income. The source of income the income itself might not be that significant. It may not make you make ends meet, but you have an income. And because you have an income, you can actually begin to invest that income and invest it in something. It doesn't matter how small it is, because one of the things that we have to understand is the issue of a principle. In understanding the concept of creating wealth. Over the years, more than a decade, I've dealt with people that will always say, my money is not even enough. It's not enough. How can you expect me to save? How can you expect me to invest? Those are the questions that people ask. But if you look at that same question, you will find that there are people who are getting less money than them, and yet they have been able to do something with the same income that they have. So it's an advantage because you have a predictable income. You are going to get paid, and because you know you are going to get paid, you can actually plan how you are going to use that money. And if you can just say, you can begin by actually just saving a small portion. That's not too difficult for you, because if it starts too hard, it becomes difficult to actually continue with it. So you can begin by, maybe you just say, okay, let me just, the principle that has been over the years, that has been given in terms of the minimum you need to save is 10% of your income. It's the same as a tithe. If you read a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, that tells the tales of what used to happen in Babylon, where financial management systems and investments started from over 6,000 years ago, you hear that they will say keep 10% or 10% of whatever you earn is yours to keep. So you can begin from there. But 10% may be too much for you. You can even begin with 5%, maybe with even 3%. The issue is that you must save that amount of money consistently over a period of time. For some people, saving is just delayed spending because they keep it for a certain period of time and then they go back and pounce on it and chew it. That is not saving for the purpose of creating wealth. Because the purpose of saving to create wealth is that when you accumulate money, then you need to invest it in an asset, so that the asset in future may give you an income and it may also increase in value. So that is very, very important for each one of us to be able to understand the importance of a job, that the job will actually gives you a steady income, a predictable income. You can plan and know how to use your salary to actually invest to earn more money in future. I mean, to create wealth, more importantly, in future.
To talk to us, send us a message on 0960 200 490. Send a text message or a WhatsApp message, or come through our Facebook page and through our social media platforms, which is Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn as well, YouTube as well. Come through and let's get interactive. Next Generation of Millionaires, right here on Radio Christian Voice. And today we are looking at the advantages of a job for building wealth. And so I'd love us to move to benefits and security. And so, Doc, how does the benefits package that often comes with employment contribute to an individual's overall financial security?
Yeah, very important question. Sometimes many people actually don't appreciate a job until they don't have it. If you are a solo person like me, self-contained, I'm a consultant, and that is the route I have taken to raise money to invest in the assets that we have acquired and those that we're acquiring and working on. Particularly when you are, of course, I'm talking about a standard job. Not all jobs may provide benefits. When at a workplace, there are several advantages. Sometimes you are insured, you have life insurance, that if anything happens to you, should you die, untimely. Unfortunately, I've never heard of somebody who has died timely. We even hear somebody is 90 years, it says untimely death, because we don't want to die, If dying, we could run away from it, we would have run away very fast. So, but if, let's say, you die, your family can actually benefit from the proceeds in terms of they do have group insurance and things like that. In fact, I read a book which said that Asians actually create wealth through life insurance. The patriarch of the family dies and he had a policy maybe worth $1 million. You find that, the children and the family members benefit from his death. So that's why some deaths, you can tell at a funeral the type of death, whether that's a death that is going to bring poverty or a death that is going to bring, that is positive. Death is bad in itself and very sad. And yeah, but there are people where their death aggravates the situation. So you can even see the way they are mourning, where somebody is crying, is even fainting, and it's like the way they are crying, the way they are weeping, it's like, the internal, organs are going to come out of the mouth, But you go to other people, when they are crying, you find they even have, they've even done, they've done powder. They've done the foundation and everything, and whatever the ladies do, and they even have a canet in front. And even when they are weeping, they don't cry too much, or else powder might, the tears may affect the powder and create. So they're just screaming, "Bye, Annie, bye, Annie." But others will hear the way they are crying. You can tell that there's a problem here. This is going beyond just missing somebody. Even when you go to the funeral, some funerals, when you go there, there's a stampede for food. Stampede for food, stampede for going, when you finish burying a person, stampede to go and get into buses. I went to a funeral. One of our elders some years back had passed on. So we went to the funeral house. And I think it was my first time to attend a funeral like that. When we reached there, we found a buffet, set up. I said, yeah, ekufoku. Yeah? We have plates, we are picking. It's like you're at a wedding. But anyway, that's beside the point. But what I'm saying is that you have benefits like insurance. Maybe when you fall sick, when you are injured, like compensation, workman's compensation, the employer may have been, it's mandatory for the employer to actually to subscribe to that. That you can be able to use when in case you stop working and due to injuries. But also even things like medical insurance, medical schemes. You will only appreciate medical scheme when you are not working. If you are not on medical scheme, it means that every time you are sick, or any member of the family is sick, you have to get the little money that you are earning to actually be able to spend on expenses. And today you have a situation where you go to a hospital, they will tell you this disease, you need scanning, you need this and this, and you have to pay for all those. Sometimes even in government hospitals, you may end up to pay, or maybe the results may take long to come and the doctor needs to make a decision. You have to go to a private laboratory. So you pay a lot of money. So you are getting money, but your income, you are spending it, apart from just spending it on rentals and food and clothing, you're also spending it on other expenses, medical expenses. But if you are in a job, especially a formal job, you find that the job is meeting a lot of expenses. You can go on leave, okay? You can go on leave and you still get paid. But if you have no job, or if you are self-employed, you cannot afford to go on leave. You cannot afford to fall sick. That is the challenge that is there. But when you are employed, formal employment for that matter, you have all these advantages that help you to actually reduce the costs. And because when you reduce the cost, then you can have money to be able to invest in a wealth creation venture, in an asset that will earn you income and will increase in value. But of course today we have the government sponsored insurance, medical insurance that you can be able to subscribe to. I think now it's about 30 kwacha per month. That should be able, NIMA. And it's surprising that there are people who have not heard of NIMA. They've not. There's some campaigns have been made for years. Okay, I don't know how many years it has existed, but however long it has existed, and you find somebody that has not even heard of NIMA. And when they have problems, they're now calling a relative now. Oh, we're about to die here. He's very sick, and which they could have just, if they were contributing that amount of money, it would have helped them in terms of meeting their medical expenses. So I think those are the advantages in terms of benefits. Of course, you ultimately there's a pension for those that can get a pension. That also will help you, cushion you when you start living your life with outside a formal job.
All right, and talking to us, you can send us a message on 0960200490. Send a text or a WhatsApp message. And so, as we're moving forward, I'd love us to look at structured work schedule. And so, I want us to look at that, having a structured work schedule. Obviously, it can be very advantageous, How does this routine contribute to managing personal and financial aspects of one's life?
Yeah. The advantage is that you can plan. It's sometimes very difficult to plan when your work is not structured. I've actually suffered from this in the sense that with consultants, for example, you normally cannot tell. I'm actually behind in my master's in theology because I planned. I thought, okay, when I do this, I'm going to focus. Now, this work that I'm doing keeps on being postponed, and new things coming in. There's a problem here. I have to step in, and I have in August I spent a total of close to, I think, a month in Zimbabwe on these consultants that I've been doing, which was not on my plan. And even the work that I went to do, it was not something that I was supposed to have done. But some consultant or some consultants on the team did not do their job at the right time. Now, as a team leader of this bigger consultants, I had to go and give them support, and so it's unscheduled. Just when you're about to start doing the work, some consultants comes up. You have to abandon everything you are doing. So it becomes difficult. But if you are in a job, I work from this period to this. Of course, not every job is like that, but most of the job, that I work from this time to this time. And because you work like that, you can plan. You can plan to start a training to be able to increase your value. You can start going to school. I got my first 2 master's degrees when I was in a job. The job could pay for the fees, and because it was scheduled, I could easily go and attend lessons, lectures, and the like, because it was structured. So that helps you. If you are in a job, you can plan. Say, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to do this. From this time to this time, I'm going to do this. And that's how it will be able to help you to actually increase value, either a side hustle, or you can invest in yourself in terms of education. Yeah.
It's clear that structure plays a significant role. Let's discuss learning and skill development. How does being employed provide opportunities for continuous learning and skill enhancement? How can these skills impact one's earning potential?
Yeah. Typical workplaces, they are always training staff. And they may not train you in terms of giving you a degree, but there are soft skills that are very important for an employee. Let me give you an example. I was invited to speak to members of, some years back, members of Human Resource Department of a prominent bank in Zambia. And when I was there, the director of Human Resource made a statement which I've not forgotten. He said this. He said, look, your degree
is the leader of the city. We are following behind Christ, and as we follow him, we know light is going before us. In the mighty name of Jesus, every darkened place, let light shine in that place. In the name of Jesus, we release the healing.
On is your performance. And there are certain, sometimes there are soft skills, sometimes short courses that will enhance your skills that are very, very important in your promotion. Okay? So as they are when it comes to promotion, they will focus now on your performance. Of course, there are certain jobs that require a particular qualification, but a lot of them within a certain bracket, you find that it's really it may just require a degree, and it is not something that maybe requires a master's degree. But at a workplace, you will find that they are giving you skills. They are training you, if a new system comes up in a workplace, they will start training you in that. You are gaining experience. And as you are gaining experience, those skills that you are gaining will help you get promoted. And as it helps you get promoted, even if, as we mentioned in previous programs, even if you are not promoted, what is going to happen is that in future, you can be able to find a job in another place. So that's why it's very, very important to be able to increase your learning. So you are not just acquiring knowledge because of the training programs that are in the workplace, but you are also learning through experience. You have been given an opportunity to learn by experience. As you are doing something, you are learning. You are also learning what we call work ethics. I am telling you, it's a challenge to work with somebody without work experience, without job experience. I'm wondering the right terminology. Somebody who has never been in a formal work environment. I worked with somebody who could come to, I don't know whether it's common sense, but sometimes common sense is not that common. He would come to, I had employed him. He would come, like literally smelling, like we don't know, did this guy bath? And me as having a shy culture, I found it very difficult. I avoided talking to him, thinking that I might offend him. But that was then. I am a different person now. This time I would tell him. I would find a very nice way to tell him. I told another guy I had employed, you find some people don't even know how to maintain. So you're supposed to come this time. They can't stick to that because it is not in them. They have no work ethics, and that's what a work environment can teach you. It teaches you work ethics. But also the other thing the work environment teaches you is that, at a workplace, you are developing connections. Many people without a wealth creation mindset, they don't know that connections and the people can be a source of wealth, because they will provide you connections and they can be able to open doors, because of the people Now, somebody is just different from a total stranger, Because even on phone, when you call somebody, if they don't know you, you even hear how they answer. You can tell. If you call somebody you can tell that they have not saved your number by the way they are answering. Hello? Yes? What can I do for you? So it's me. How are you? So that's the issue of the advantage that the job gives. But I think of more importance is, apart from connections, the people that you are knowing your industry. You are gaining industry knowledge. And that industry knowledge is very easy for you to actually start a business. Most people start businesses far from their experience, far from the academic qualifications. So their learning curve is very steep. They have to start learning almost everything. But if, Kunda, you started a business within broadcasting, maybe what you need to learn are maybe just how do I run a business, how do I put in systems in place. You are not learning like the product that you are going to be providing or service, because you already know that. Yeah. You already know the rules. You know the regulations by Independent Broadcasting Corporation or Authority. You already know that. You know who to contact. And that gives you, in fact, when people are trying to start a business, we begin by saying, okay, what are you qualified in? What do you have experience in? And from that, it's easier. Your chances of succeeding are higher to actually go and start a business in broadcasting than to go and start a business in catering, you know, because you find that you've been just eating food. You don't even know. Maybe you don't even understand the concept of a recipe. What is a recipe? You know. Yeah. So I think those are things that gives you an advantage, you know, in a job. Let me give you an example of some two guys were laid off, and they were so devastated. So they apparently, I don't know how they ended up meeting, whether they were, it's a coffee shop at the workplace or near the workplace. So they met, they were both laid off. I'm sure they knew each other, and they were mourning about just how terrible these guys are. They've laid us off. And you know, in the Western world, the job is your mother and your father. It's your relative, you know. And then an idea came to them, why don't we start a similar company? They started a similar company, and it grew to the level that they became a serious competitor to their employer. Why? They already had the know-how. They knew the systems. They had product knowledge. I know it's these places where they're selling product, building products. You know, I give you an example. My wife ran a hardware shop for some years. So when it comes to things like what to buy in terms of what we need to buy in the house, I delegate that to her. She knows, you know, electrical issues. She knows plumbing. I have very little idea, because over the years she gained that knowledge. She gained that experience, and that's what a working experience, being in a work environment, provides you. You know, yeah. But of course, we know that you can only create wealth if you have a wealth creation mindset. You can easily turn anything into a business as long as it has a market, but it requires a mindset, you know. But this, whatever we've talked about today in this program, plus a wealth creation mindset, you can actually become wealthy doing anything.
Interesting. And it's been great, and thank you very much for sharing this beautiful insights talk. I know we are running out of time.
As usual.
As usual.
And time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So, but any last words?
I think for me, I think one of my passions has been to help people in a job to create wealth. Why? Because that's where I started from. I followed the same mission that parents give their children: go to school, get a good education, get good grades, find a job, and live happily thereafter. And most of us, the majority of us, we followed that mantra. The only thing is the last part. We were never happy thereafter. In fact, our problems increased because we just realized that the salary was too small. We had even responsibilities of the same parents and relatives that sent us to school. Now when we started working, all eyes shall see him, as they say about Christ. In your family, all eyes shall see you. So that every family member is looking to you, and they are saying they are suffering because you have not helped them. And along the way, as I mentioned in the early programs, if you have not, you didn't listen to those programs, please go back to the early programs. I explained, I think it must have been the third program, how I ended up teaching wealth creation. I just realized that everyone else seems to be making wealth or getting money from the employees, except the employees. The employees make everyone else, or the middle class, they make everyone else wealthy except themselves. And that's why my passion is to teach employees. I'm not saying leave a job. I don't recommend people to leave a job unless you feel like. But I'm saying even in your job, you can use your job to actually create wealth. It's difficult. It's challenging. It will take you a long time. But you can still create wealth if you have a right mindset and if you understand what wealth is, the programs that we've looked at in the past.
Thank you so much. And so that was Dr. Kennedy Musonda giving us beautiful insights today. And obviously, it's clear that a job isn't just about the paycheck, but it offers a multitude of advantages that can contribute to financial stability and growth. While relying solely on a job may not lead to extreme wealth, these advantages act as stepping stones towards a solid financial foundation. And so join us in our next episode, as we continue this insightful journey and explore the challenges that can hinder wealth creation through a job. Until then, stay tuned and stay financially empowered. My name is Kunda, and bye-bye for now.
Get ready to embark on a journey towards becoming the next generation of millionaires, the faithful way.